GT for the Atari 2600. This game was developed by Atari in 1982, and is often cited as one of the worst video games ever made. It was released in a rushed manner to coincide with the release of the movie, and as a result, it was filled with bugs and glitches. The game was so poorly received that it is often cited as a major factor in the video game industry crash of 1983. Battlefield 4. This first-person shooter game was released by EA DICE in 2013, and was heavily criticized for its numerous technical issues. The game suffered from server instability, frequent crashes, and various other bugs that greatly affected gameplay. As a result, many players and critics considered it to be a broken game. No Man's Sky. This space exploration game was released by Hello Games in 2016, and was heavily hyped prior to its release. However, upon release, the game was plagued by technical issues and a lack of content, leading to widespread disappointment among players and critics. The game's developer later released updates to address these issues, but many considered the game to be broken upon initial release. Assassin's Creed Unity. This action-adventure game was released by Ubisoft in 2014, and was criticized for its numerous technical issues. The game suffered from frequent crashing, graphical glitches, and other bugs that greatly affected gameplay. Fallout 76. This online multiplayer game was released by Bethesda Softworks in 2018, and was heavily criticized for its numerous technical issues and lack of content. The game suffered from server instability, frequent crashing, and various other bugs that greatly affected gameplay. Mass Effect. Andromeda. Poor animation and character models. Many players reported that the game's animation and character models were of poor quality, leading to a number of bugs and glitches. For example, characters would sometimes move in unnatural or unrealistic ways, and their facial expressions would be exaggerated or exaggerated. This made the game look unpolished and reduced the overall quality of the experience. Quest bugs and progression issues. Many players reported encountering various bugs and glitches while trying to complete quests and progress through the game. These included quests that would not trigger properly, objectives that were impossible to complete, and other issues that made it difficult to progress in the game. Inaccurate dialogue and voice acting. Many players reported that the game's dialogue and voice acting were of poor quality, with many lines of dialogue being delivered in a wooden or unnatural manner. This made the game's story and characters less engaging and reduced the overall quality of the experience. Technical issues. Many players reported encountering various technical issues while playing Mass Effect Andromeda, including frequent crashes, freezes, and other performance issues. These issues greatly affected gameplay and made the game difficult to play for long periods of time. Cyberpunk 2077. One of the major issues with Cyberpunk 2077 was its poor performance on certain platforms, particularly the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. The game suffered from frequent frame rate drops and other performance issues, which greatly affected gameplay and made the game feel unresponsive at times. This was particularly frustrating for players, who had been promised a seamless, open-world experience. Some examples of bugs that were reported by players and reviewers include frequent crashes and freezes. Many players reported that the game would crash or freeze frequently, making it difficult to play for long periods of time. This was particularly frustrating for players, who had been promised a seamless, open-world experience. Glitches and visual artifacts. Many players reported encountering various graphical glitches and visual artifacts in the game, including missing textures, floating objects, and other issues. These glitches often made the game look unpolished and reduced the overall quality of the experience. Poor AI and NPC behavior. Many players reported that the game's AI and NPC characters would behave in unrealistic or inconsistent ways, leading to a number of bugs and glitches. For example, NPC characters would sometimes get stuck in walls or other objects, or they would behave in strange or unpredictable ways. Quest bugs and progression issues. Many players reported encountering various bugs and glitches while trying to complete quests and progress through the game. These included quests that would not trigger properly, objectives that were impossible to complete, and other issues that made it difficult to progress in the game. Watch Dogs. Watch Dogs is an open-world action-adventure game that was released by Ubisoft in 2014. The game was heavily criticized by players and reviewers for its numerous technical issues, including poor performance, glitches, and other bugs that greatly affected gameplay. As a result, the game received generally negative reviews and was considered by many to be a broken game. One of the major issues with Watch Dogs was its poor performance on certain platforms, particularly the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. The game suffered from frequent frame rate drops and other performance issues, which greatly affected gameplay and made the game feel unresponsive at times. This was particularly frustrating for players, who had been promised a seamless, open-world experience. In addition to its performance issues, Watch Dogs was also criticized for its lack of content and repetitive gameplay. Many players and reviewers felt that the game failed to deliver on its promises and fell short of expectations. This led to widespread disappointment among players and critics, and contributed to the game's poor reception.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and consider subscribing to our channel. Your support means a lot to me and helps me create even more content for you to enjoy. Thanks again for watching.